Welcome back to the Poison Touch Advice Hour, the show where Chucky and Tiffany give you all the best and worst advice to deal with all of life's predicaments, even if you're afraid to ask someone to be your friend because you haven't made a friend since preschool. We're back, and it is time for our Am I the Yasshole episode where we cover a couple of Reddit stories. And I'm joined by Aaron from the Fearquency podcast once again after our very successful and very critically acclaimed, dare I say. I don't know, there's no critics, but the people did like the episode. The people really did like the episode. I've gotten lots of nice comments from it. So, Aaron, how have you been in the past couple of weeks since we recorded our last episode?
I've been good. Thank you. Thank you so much again for having me back. I'm really excited to join you, and I'm really happy that you guys really enjoyed the previous episode. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one as well.
I'm excited. I know you said off camera when I brought the episode up a couple of weeks ago, you were like, "Oh, I love Reddit stories."
I do.
So I'm glad that I have a fellow, Reddit aficionado, someone who, because like I said this all the time, Reddit is a terrible place,
Yeah.
but there's lots of good stories on there. It's a cesspool that I reach into and I grab the worst of the worst.
It's fun. It's great. And I love me some tea. I love people's drama, honestly. I'd be reading about it. I don't want the
Always.
drama in my life, but I want to kind of see it in other people's perspectives. And I'm like, damn, that's fucked up.
It's a great place to
But
get mess.
it is, and you can honestly find literally anything on there, which is really scary at the same time because there's some like subreddits that you do not want to venture into,
Oh
and you're like,
yeah.
what the fuck? You can go into like this rabbit hole of like you can go from like I want to see what Venom is about, and then you go into like freaking Venom fucking something. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
This
And then
isn't.
from there, somehow you end up on Let's Not Meet and reading a story about how someone, got bit by a venomous spider when they were out meeting the mailman. It's always like there's all types
It's
of weird shit on there.
it is. It's great though. I love it. I love it there.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for having me again.
Of course. Today's stories are both from Am I the Butt Face, which is like kind of like Am I the Asshole, but a little more relaxed. So it's kind of like we fry the small fish here. It's the shit that people don't feel the need is big enough to bring to Am I the Asshole? And that's
Mhm.
kind of where I like to be. I don't want to solve world hunger, but I like a little petty squabble. We got some
Yeah.
petty squabbles.
Yeah, we could put our little 2 cents in it, you know?
Exactly. So that's where we are today. Is we're putting our 2 cents onto some breakups, making some friends. We're gonna figure it out.
We'll get there.
Let's get into this first one. This, of course, since this is am I the asshole? We're gonna swap butt face. We're at the assholes now. Am I the asshole for finally going out with guys after my ex left me? And she writes, my ex, 22 male, broke up with me, 22 female, back in December because he wanted quote unquote space and was not ready to be in a relationship. For more context, I caught him cheating on me a month prior. He was texting women trying to have sex with them, and I took him back. Unfortunately, we still had to live together until our lease was up due to financial reasons. Lease is up June 10th of 2024. During this time, we still had sex, slept in the same bed, and talked like we were together. When I would bring up us getting back together, he would say, no, not right now, but in the future. I begged him to take me back, and he never did. I found out that he was texting so many women, and my heart was shattered. I just couldn't believe it, and during that time, I didn't text any guys because I just wanted him back so bad. I had this thought that I could prove to him that I was the one. When I would cry, he would say that I was just, quote unquote, just to make him feel bad and more hurtful things. That sentence needs a little bit of editing, I will say,
It's
because I'm like, wait, what?
it's a run on.
But you know what? She's going through a lot of emotions right now. I'll give that to her. I will give her that run on.
I suppose. I won't.
in in March, I was fed up. I bought me a car and began going out on dates and getting out more. Good for you, girl. One day I came home at 5 a.m. and my ex said I smelled like condom, girl, and
What
accused
the
me of sleeping with another guy. I didn't. I told him that even if I did, I don't owe him any explanation because I'm single. He got so mad he ended up putting his hands on me, busted my lip, and more. That morning he packed his things and moved out. He was gone for 2 weeks. We would chat sometimes. During the time, he went to a doctor. I had gotten a diagnosis which said he had genital herpes. This is something he's had but has never been gotten a blood test for. Every few months, he would get a little scab in his private area. We thought it was a regular bump or something, but we would never have sex during that time. After he found out, he came back and asked me to be his girlfriend again.
Of
Bro,
course.
can we cut the question here? I already have so much.
Yeah, I know.
I told him I needed time to myself to heal and etc. He got mad because I said I needed time. Also, and I went and got tested and I do not have herpes.
Thank goodness.
I feel like he only wants to be with me now because of his diagnoses. He started to be nice and treat me the way I begged him to treat me for months. Anyways, my ex stayed for a couple days, and while he was here, a guy texted me and he saw it. He then asked to see my phone, and I said no. He got so mad he stormed out and left and was telling me I was wrong for texting guys. Even though we're not together, I apologized and told him that I was sorry, even though I felt like I didn't owe him an explanation. Last week, his friend saw me and a guy hanging out at an event. My ex's friend went back and told him he saw me and the guy. My ex texted me and said, "You're disrespectful as fuck. I never took things that far. I will never trust you. How you want time to yourself, but you're out fucking with guys." That was the last message he sent me before I was blocked. And now I feel bad. So, am I the butt face?
Uh, gr-
Girl,
I have a lot of
this,
questions for you.
I have a lot of questions. But before we ask those questions, you must be colorblind. The
It,
amount of red flags that have slipped through your fingers. Oh my God. What do you think about this?
I mean, honestly, maybe her favorite color is red, and she just like, I can fix him. Maybe she's one of those girls that is a fixer, and she knows that maybe he might change, but it's probably not gonna happen.
You know he's not going to change.
No, definitely fuck not. And it's super annoying because he kind of flips the script as like he can do everything. He's super hypocritical for sure.
Uh
Like, oh, I
huh.
can go have sex with people, but like when she does it, or like she's hanging out with someone, not even possibly having sex with them, they are like, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Girl,
why are you doing that?
you would have thought from the way that the friend was acting, you would have thought the friend saw her out at a glory hole sucking three dicks.
Yeah,
She was out bowling with a man, like they're just out having a good time. Meanwhile, he was the one fully cheating on her and messaging like 20 different women. Like,
yeah. The person that
oh,
she went on a date with was putting his fingers in bowling hole, like the bowling ball holes, not her holes. What the
exactly.
fuck? What's going on here?
Exactly. It's
He was just super
crazy.
hypocritical. The part where he's like, "You disrespected me, like you're super disrespectful." What the fuck? I would have been, and you busted my lip. At that moment, a restraining order would have been
And you put hands on
made.
exactly like that. I feel like she kind of glosses over that.
I mean, she could have like, I watch a lot of true crime and everything, so maybe it could be like Stockholm syndrome, where it's just like, well, I want him still, so even if he treats me bad,
Well,
it could
that
be
is
something like
true.
that.
Leaving an abusive relationship is very tough. That being said, we completely glossed over this. Like, she was like, "Yeah, am I the one in the wrong?" And I'm like, I just want to shake her and be like, "Girl, you're better than this.
Yeah,
You are better than this."
there's
And
even, oh, go ahead.
no,
Sorry.
no, no, I was just say the way that he gaslights her into thinking that she's the one being disrespectful when he was disrespecting her throughout their entire relationship. It seems like,
Yeah, no, exactly 100%. And I love that Reddit will literally, they don't care like whoever's gonna post, they will say the meanest things to you because they wanted to put it through your head. Like, what the fuck? Like, she put he's walking red flag factory. Like
yeah,
neither of them are mature enough. And one of them, I wanted to say that they just called her straight out stupid. And I was like,
I know people on
damn.
the internet can be a little
But
harsh. But
yeah,
that
they
being
are.
said, you do go to places like this on Reddit to get the harsh advice. You know what I mean? I feel like I can take a little bit of a softer tone, but by the same token, this man is so manipulative, so abusive, he's cheating on you.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just really want better for this person.
I really hope she gets better. I know that there was that moment of like they lived together and then their lease isn't up until June. So like I want to know what happened. Like are they hopefully he moved out and like they're not together at all. And
Well, so
then
it sounds like here when he saw when she came back and smelled like condom,
that's why I
that
was
was
just
the day
like,
he moved out because it's the morning that morning he packed his things and moved out. So he's
mhm.
gone. Hopefully, never to come back.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah. She said that he was
Abusive
gone for
people.
2 weeks.
Oh shit, you're right. He did. But did he ever come back? She said he
Uh,
spent a couple days afterwards, right? After he got his herpes diagnosis.
yeah. Oh, see, and that's another thing. It's just like, oh, I found out I have an STI. Like now I want to be with you because I don't know how I would say that to someone else, you know? Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
think he's obviously going back to her because that's the easy option is go back to the one that you've had all this history with, right? It
Hmm.
doesn't sound like they live together anymore because he blocked her. So I feel like
Oh yeah.
why would you block her if I could just go home and I'm gonna see you? You know what I mean?
And sleep in the same fucking bed.
Yeah, which that's a whole other thing. Like after breaking up, but you guys are still living together and having sex and all that stuff, like you guys really didn't break up, you know?
Yeah.
You just gave him carte blanche to continue to cheat on you.
Exactly. It's kind of like putting a band-aid over something and you just need to rip it off. Like you know it's not gonna work. And
Exactly. Which I've been there with people that I've broken up with, and then we still end up having sex for a couple months afterwards.
yeah.
It never works out because you start getting resentment towards each other, you start fighting
Hmm.
more, and you're not even together. And then it always ends up like not like this, but it ends up bad.
Yeah, pretty bad. There was like she even said that they would talk as if they were still together, but they were not together. So that's also super unhealthy because then it's mixed signals of like, whoa, are we gonna potentially get back together? Are we gonna try to fix it? Or are you just going to still go out there and cheat on me? And I'm over here by myself, like just wondering of what's gonna happen
Hmm.
next. And then now that I have the opportunity to actually go out because I'm actually single, like let me go do my own thing. And now you're over here coming back to me saying you can't do that. Like I could do it, but you can't.
Yeah, that's crazy. Too. All the while he's like making her feel like, oh, we're gonna get back together like, down the
Mhm.
line, you know?
Yeah.
Which I mean, they're 22 years old, which the whole I need space, I'm not ready to be in a relationship thing is very young person wanting to go and hoe
Hmm.
around and hook up with people, which
Oh
is,
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Hmm. And it's
In
good that they're young, like
theory,
very,
it's,
yeah.
good. Do your thing, go see whoever,
Hmm.
but don't drag along this woman telling her you're going to be with her in the future and things like that. Now, that's where we veer into toxic territory. You could have just
Hmm.
broken up and say, you know what? I'm falling out of love with you, or we're just not working anymore. We need to go do our own things. Why?
Yeah.
The big question I have is why were they already living together?
That I do not know. And they definitely did not think about it.
I mean, that's definitely a
That's for
lesson
sure.
learned.
Oh, for
Why?
sure.
Why are y'all living together?
Like, I want to know when you guys moved in together and how was it? Like, I mean, I know like there's puppy love and it's just like, oh, you guys are like deeply in love with each other, you would think. And then you guys actually live together and you're like, fuck, they're kind of annoying.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
I
they're
don't know if I could
young.
deal with them.
I'm sure it was one of those things like rent will be cheaper, right? Let's just do it. Let's just move in together.
Hmm.
You should have found a friend to move in with or something because,
Yeah, it's hard out here. I get it. I totally understand. But if you're gonna move in with someone, like you should more than likely be certain, like you should do that because then things like this can happen. I,
yeah,
again, like he is abusive, so I would really hope that you do not ever get back with this person or like don't
100%.
even get on the time of day because he already put hands on you. So like he can potentially put hands on you again, and I wouldn't want you
Hmm.
to go through that process.
Yeah.
So yeah, once that happened, restraining order would have been filed like immediately
It's
because
like
fuck that.
we're at like a safety point now. Like if we
Yeah.
even take out the rest of the equation, take out the rest of his manipulations, the rest of his gaslighting,
Hmm.
let's just bring it to that. This man put hands on you. That is not okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That alone should be reason enough to be like never talking to this man.
Yeah, that is grounds for that. And
Yeah.
I don't know why she didn't think that. I mean, again, it's just like, oh, I just love him so much.
Well,
And
it can be hard when you're really close
yeah,
to the problem. You know what I mean? Like I get that.
yeah.
I also think when he accused her of smelling like condom and sleeping with a guy, that's very telling because a lot of times manipulative people will cast aspersions on you to make you seem like you did something when in reality
Mm.
they did the
They,
thing.
yeah. And
So
then
I
they're
would
trying
not
to
be
like put,
surprised he smelled like condom. You know what I mean?
yeah, he's deflecting. That's what
He
he's
was
doing.
probably fucking somebody while you were out doing whatever, you know?
Yeah. And that's such an odd thing. Like, you smell like condom. I've never heard of that phrase. I've never heard someone say that in the sentence.
Yeah.
I would think latex, but still.
I guess. I mean, you smell
Uh,
like condom. That is. That's a little crazy. To
That
accuse
is.
somebody of smelling like condom,
Yeah, for real. I'm like, is it on my hand? Is it like what's going on? It was all over my
yeah.
body, my face.
Which I mean,
I
like
don't know where it's
sex
at.
has a smell. I feel like it would
Yeah.
have been easier to be like, girl, you smell like sex. But you smell like
Yeah.
condoms specifically.
Who
How do you
the
know?
fuck,
How do you know
bitch?
I wasn't at the dentist that had a latex glove in my mouth?
Exactly. I'd be like, yeah, I just came back from the fucking dental office. What do you want me to do? I'm like, I got
Yeah.
fucked there actually.
Well, people fucking that's somebody's OnlyFans. Somebody on OnlyFans is out here like doing dentist play.
Actually, it was, not to get on a little tangent, but I think on Twitter I did come across someone and they did a scene in their dental office. And I'm like, excuse me, I do not want to go to that dental office because what if it was really the doctor, the dentist that was,
Yeah. You know, he's
I
like
don't,
open wide. You're like, oh,
yeah.
oh.
I'm like, wait, hold up. I didn't sign up for this.
This is not the
I was,
cleaning I wanted.
yeah, exactly. You're supposed to put a different tool in my mouth, not that.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I came here for a cleaning, bitch. I
Yeah.
came to get a cavity filled. This is not the cavity I wanted filled.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. People, yeah, they're just crazy, you know? But let them be. But yeah, I mean, I really hope again, just going back to her, she does better and she deserves better, I would say.
Yeah. Also, I mean,
Hmm.
the fact that she feels bad is just proof of how deeply he has his claws around her.
Hmm.
And this is something that takes time to break out of, right? I think first and foremost, we're not therapists. We can't give you any real therapist advice. So I think the best advice is to go see a therapist to learn how to deal with these things because
Hmm.
a lot of this is on him and his manipulations and for you to internalize that and feel bad because you stood up for yourself. You
Yeah.
should never feel bad for standing up for yourself
Yeah.
after he flipped the script on you and told him that you were being disrespectful just because you went on a date. You're not together.
Yeah.
You haven't been together with this man for at the very minimum over the time frame at least a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, all in my head is going to be like arson. I'm just kidding. No, I'm
Well, that
joking.
is certainly an option.
Certainly an option.
An option that we cannot condone.
Yeah, we cannot condone. I just see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
assassination. You know.
Just kidding, y'all. Do not do any of
Yeah,
that.
don't do it. Don't do
Just
it.
leave. Just leave. That's it. Don't.
Yeah, just leave
No jail
him.
time for you. Just
Leave
you
him.
deserve better, and like
This is one
you
of
know
those
when to get out of situations.
situations. We talked
Hmm.
about this in our last episode where sometimes you don't get closure with a person.
Yeah.
This might have to be one of those situations where you go no contact. And he
Yeah.
already blocked you, but if I know one thing a man is going to do is he's going to unblock you and try to hit you up. The next time there's a full moon, you know, he's going to send you one of
Yep.
those texts like this full moon is so beautiful, but the only side I want to see is the side of your eyes. You know, he's going to send you some text like that. So
Yeah.
block him back and
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
unblock his ass. Go no contact
Exactly.
with him. Don't give him the option to come back into your life.
I know friends like that too, and then they always be unblocking. I'm like, why are you
Why
doing
are you
that?
on? Why unblock? Just leave him to crumble.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm always that person. Like, as I always tell people, I'm like, you can come to me if you ever need help. But if it's like the same fucking person,
I can only help you
like,
so much, girl.
yeah, yep, I can only help you so much. After that, I don't know. You're on your own. I'm so sorry, but I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
it.
it hurts for someone that you care about, a friend, to come to you with the same bullshit after you've told them again and again. Because then
Mhm.
at a certain point, it starts to feel like, do you just not trust my advice? You know what I mean? Because you keep coming for me to advice. You don't want advice. You just want to vent. And
Exactly.
that's fine. If you just want to vent, let's just say that.
Hmm.
But don't come to me asking for advice. And when I tell you to break up with him and block him and go no contact,
You don't do it.
don't get mad when you don't do it and shit keeps on happening, you know?
You're like, I fucking told you, bitch. What do you expect?
Yeah, like I gave you the options right in front of you.
I'm gonna just have to write a list and be like, yeah, this is the fifth time you came to me in the past 3 months. What the fuck? I'm done with you.
This is the eighth unblocking that you've done for him. You gave him another chance.
Yeah, like that's so weird.
Yeah, so I think before anything else, get some therapy. Secondly, you need to not internalize any of the things that this man has done to you. It doesn't make you undeserving of love. It doesn't make you undeserving to stand up for yourself. Those are the most
Yeah,
important parts. You have agency in a relationship. For someone to put you down like that is not okay. And I don't want you to keep going forward in future relationships thinking that that's how you should be treated
exactly.
because you
So
have strength.
yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't say that you're the asshole. He's the asshole.
Exactly. Like girl, you are not the butt face. You're not the asshole. You're not the asshole.
Yeah.
You're the victim. Like you are a victim here, girl.
And just leave him be. But I mean, it looks like she has a really good heart, even though like through all the stuff that she's been through, she's still like, I can find some type of good in him. Yeah. That kind of just goes to show like the type of soul she has.
And I love that. But also
Hmm.
sometimes we just stop looking for the good in people and just let them be
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. You have to understand, like, no, they are fucking douches and I'm not gonna deal with them.
Yeah,
And it's just better to just leave it like that.
it's also not your job to find the
Hmm.
good in everybody and make them good.
Yeah, I know. That's true. So take care of yourself, girl.
Yeah, take care of yourself. And she also said at the end of this, she said my Reddit account has previous stories from him too. So this isn't even the first Reddit story she's posted about him.
Yeah, I know. Should we say what her Reddit name is?
Nah.
Nah.
Or should we? I don't know. Should we?
I mean, if people want to go check out more
Let's read a
about,
couple of her other posts. Let's see if there's anything worth
okay,
here.
let's see.
Oh, she posted on Am I the Asshole? Am I the Asshole? Am I the Asshole for finally moving on from a toxic relationship after my ex dumped me? So she posted kind of a similar thing. 4 months
Oh, it was a day
ago,
ago.
yeah, 4 months ago, she said, my ex boyfriend broke up with me and we still live together. Oh, God. Boyfriend 22 couldn't stop liking half naked pictures of other women, so I posted one of myself.
Oh,
Girl. Can I
spicy.
still work my regular shift at Amazon even though I'm on school accommodation? I like to
That's
see that
yes.
she's got a varied circle here. She's
She
doing more
does.
things.
I can answer
Amen.
that for her. I used to work at Amazon.
Oh,
But
so you
yes,
you
they'll
can.
accommodate you, I think, for 10 hours. That was my experience. So duly noted.
Well,
But I don't
eight
work there
eight
no more,
months
y'all.
ago. Hopefully, she got the answer.
I know. Or she got another job.
I really just I want good for her because, like you said, she does have a good heart. Like she likes
Yeah.
to. You could tell she's trying to find the good in people, and I want her to see the good in herself and realize that she's worth more than that.
Yeah. She even wrote, one of them said, yeah, I think I just miss having a boyfriend deep down. I don't want him back, but just having someone around. So it just sounds like she just needs someone,
And I get
which is
that.
yeah. It could be a good or bad thing though, because it's just like you're just filling a void where you can do that yourself. You don't need someone.
Aaron, you and me right
Yeah.
here. We're like psychically linked. I was gonna say the
Yeah.
exact same thing. I feel like we can fall into a very easy trap here of just
Hmm.
rushing into a relationship just because
Hmm.
you miss having a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I think you need to get comfortable being alone. And
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
not like to be shady or anything. Like this is just like life skills at this point. Everybody needs to be comfortable being alone. You need
Yeah.
to be stable being alone financially. You need to be stable being alone emotionally.
Hmm.
It only behooves you to thrive when you're single. That way, when you get in a relationship, you're not finding someone to complete you. You're finding someone that complements you.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
100% agree with that. And I know how uncomfortable it could be to be alone. It's fine. But you can find yourself, you can find things that you enjoy doing,
Yeah.
and then you'll find someone else that'll probably enjoy the same things, or they'll show other things that you didn't know that you liked. So, yeah, just a compliment of having the other person. You don't need someone because you feel alone. Like you should be okay with the thought of being alone and be like, I'm happy and
Yeah. Focus
I
on your
want someone.
friends. Pour
Yeah.
into your friends. Have your friends pour into your cup. Find
Hmm.
people to really invest in emotionally outside of a boyfriend. Build those relationships.
Exactly. If you feel like you need someone around, yeah, you have friends. There you go.
Exactly.
You don't need someone to love on, I guess, really. If
Exactly.
that's what
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Which that leads us naturally into our next question, which is about friendship. But before we
Yeah.
get into that, let's take a break. Hey Divas, just letting y'all know, for only $5 a month over at patreon.com/poisontouchpod, you can get access to full video versions of every episode, access to episodes early, priority to advice questions, as well as bonus episodes, including my Library of Alexandria series, where I'm going through some of the old questions that got submitted before I even started this podcast and was just streaming on Twitch. Hope to see you on the Patreon.
In a world where the bizarre meets the absurd, where reality is just a suggestion, and where the only rule is that there are no rules, comes a podcast that's so out there, it's in a category of its own. Okay, look, tune in every Tuesday to the Scream Queer podcast with me, your host, Ralph Anthony, where I'm talking true crime, horror, paranormal encounters, and my personal favorite, unpopular opinions. Tune into my wild listener submission segments that will have you sleeping with the light on, and hot topics including social issues that'll have you scratching your head saying, wait, what? So if you're ready to laugh, scream, and maybe even learn a thing or two, grab your popcorn, your tinfoil hats, and your sense of humor, because the Scream Queer podcast is about to take you on a wild ride to the outer limits of absurdity.
This is the perfect time to remind you to get your questions, submissions, and confessions in for my episode with the icon themselves, Ralph Anthony, because we are recording a Poison Touch episode in just about 2 weeks from the time this episode comes out. So it's poisontouch.com or call in 312-725-6483. Or if you're a fan of the Scream Queer podcast, feel free to submit over at his website as well. Let's get back to the show. We're back. We were just talking off, during the break about speaking Spanish and how I am, for all intents and purposes, a no Sabo. My parents did not teach me that much Spanish, so I don't have that much Spanish in me, but I have enough to the point where I can help people at the bar. We've got a lot of dancers that really only speak Spanish. I've come from a lot of Venezuelans, a lot of Cubans. So I get to practice my Spanish a little bit with them, but I would like to be fluent. And it's tough. It is hard.
It is. It is especially hard, especially because if you don't practice it every day, kind of like what we were saying. I think a really easy gateway to it is if you have other friends that speak Spanish that are pretty fluent, that they can help you. Like I will text some of my friends as well in Spanish just because, so I can kind of practice and read everything. That's kind of helped me a little bit, but I think I just need to actually speak it because when I'm talking, it just comes out and I overthink what I'm going to say next, and then I get stuck.
Same.
But that's also me with English. So I'm kind of fucked either way.
I'm constantly overthinking what I'm going to say in Spanish to the point where that I mess it up when I actually say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's how people talk about how they look at the menu of a restaurant beforehand. They think about what they're going to order the whole time they're on their way to the restaurant. Then when they get to the restaurant, they mess up their order. That's kind of how I am speaking Spanish. And then when I mess up, and the thing is, I give myself this grace in English. If I mess up a word in English, because I often do, I'll just, I keep it moving. If I mess up something in Spanish, bitch, I break down. I'm a mess.
I'm gonna get the sweats. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
who knows?
I will be sweating bullets trying to get through a conversation in Spanish.
Oh, me too. I can't wear no freaking light shirt. You will see my pits, my pit sweat. Hell no. I'm
crazy.
Good. I'm okay.
And then I want to practice with my friends, but then I feel nervous and I feel they're going to laugh at me when my Spanish isn't bad, which they aren't, but I always feel that way. So that's just something I have to get through.
Yeah, no, that's the same because my friends, they're open to having me speak Spanish but they're so fast and I'm fuck, I can catch up everything. I can hear it and I'm okay, I understand what you're saying, but I'm not going to speak that fast, bro. I'm so sorry.
I speak Spanish like a third grader.
Yeah, yo también. I know.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get better at Spanish, and we're gonna do an episode in Spanish, and that'll be.
Oh my god!
It'll be two bitches telling each other exactamente.
That would be a funny ass fucking episode. So you guys would need translations. I would need translation. Jake is already read thinking about it.
I know. Look at me. It's gonna be giving those two girls. Have you ever seen it's a video of these two girls and they're doing an English project and they just they're asking each other their favorite bands and stuff and they go, Anju? And I'll send it to you, but
okay, you have to show it.
It's gonna be a mess.
That's gonna be us. Yeah. It's gonna be horrible, but it's gonna be a lot of fun at the same time.
Exactly. So
I'm gonna have a whole fucking script of what I'm gonna say.
Girl, and when we try to veer off of that script,
I'm be yo no entiendo.
Mm-hmm. Can you say magnetic? charismatic. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be bad.
Charismatic. I don't know how to even say this. I'll be like, hey Siri, how do you say this in Spanish?
Yeah,
That'd be me.
Siri's gonna be on deck. How do you say this?
Hmm. So
Well,
should we get into our next
let's
one?
get into this next question. Now that I'm all beat red from the fear of
Yeah.
speaking Spanish.
It's okay. I'm a little sweaty, so I'm just thinking about it. So it's okay. We're
I
on the
know
same boat.
we're getting ourselves real nervous about this.
Yeah, we're not even doing it. What the fuck?
I know,
Right
right?
now.
It's not even happening. All right, take
Yeah.
us to this next question.
Yeah. Okay. Can I actually I have a question for you really quick. What does WIBTB mean?
Would I be the butt face? But for this, it
Oh,
would I be the Yasshole? So that's
okay.
how we'll say
So
it.
would I be the asshole if I, 20 female, try to befriend a woman, 21 female, by asking her to wine/TV show if we haven't hung out one on one? So she put serious. I, a 20-year-old female, have borderline personality disorder, and all throughout my adolescence, I made a single person, typically my girlfriend, the center of my life and never practiced making friends. I'm a math major and work around 2 to 3 nights a week with this girl and 1 to 2 other people. We usually spend lots of time chatting too. One day I said in passing we should exchange homework scores, and I guess she got my number from the group chat and texted me. I'd kind of really like a new friend because my girlfriend is the only person I'm close with. How should I go about asking her to hang out? Asking her to get lunch feels boring. I don't really have time. I know there's this TV show we both used to watch/make fun of. Would it be weird to propose we watch TV/drink wine? By the way, I already asked her if she was smoking on 420 and she said no. She had a game/background test. I said, oh, I was going to ask if you wanted to smoke with me, but I see you can't. I feel if she wanted to be friends, maybe she would have suggested an alternative. We have once gotten ice cream at the cafe with another guy after a late night homework session. And that's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. So what were your thoughts?
So first off, I have no frame of reference for borderline personality disorder, so I can't really speak to that and how that might affect her making friends. That
Same.
being said, we can look at this and see somebody who, like she says, has never practiced making friends and has only made a single person her the center of her life.
Mhm.
Making friends is tough. The way
Hell yeah.
I go about making friends is I always treat it like the playground, right? You just have to be brave and just ask the person to hang out. Most people are not gonna, bite you in the fucking mouth for asking them to hang out, right?
I mean, maybe.
And if they bite you, that might be something you're into. That I'm sure you could find that. But I first thing I want to address is when she says if she wanted to be friends, maybe she would have suggested an alternative. I don't think it does you any favors to read into every social situation that you have with this person to
Mhm.
try and figure out if she wants to be your friend.
Yeah.
That is just an extra cause of stress. It doesn't help you. I don't think maybe she was just busy. She couldn't suggest an alternative. You know what I mean? Either way, I don't think that doesn't mean that she doesn't want to be friends with you. I think it's more or less just taking that chance and asking her to do something. I don't see how you would ever be the asshole for asking someone to hang out. I will say I don't think wine and TV show is maybe like the best first hangout, like one-on-one. I think maybe ice cream again or coffee, or I know she says lunch feels boring, but when you're like a working adult, I mean, it seems like they're like in college. Getting lunch with someone is a very easy way to be like, let's hang out, let's talk. That way you can at least see, is there stuff that you guys even have in common? Do you want to keep hanging out? You know what I mean?
Baby girl, I love lunch. I love dinner. I love breakfast. Send me, if you say, let's hang out and go get food, I'm like, bitch, where? I'm down.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be like as weighty. I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's going to feel like a date, which it doesn't have to be. You could just like, girl, we could just go get burritos. It doesn't have to be that serious, you know?
Exactly. Like it can be a 30-minute thing. Like we don't have to be at a restaurant. I'm cool with going to, you want to drive to McDonald's? I'll drive to McDonald's with you. What the fuck? I'll do anything if it involves food.
Like I think wine in a TV show is something that you would probably do after you've hung out a couple of times and then find out like, okay, like, yeah, so we know we both watched the show. Do you want to come over and watch it? And I'll grab a bottle of wine, but let's grab like, also, I feel like wine feels kind of charged. Like wine feels like it's, I don't know.
Yeah. So I have like little 2 cents for that. So me and one of my best friends, we watched Schitt's Creek and we would drink wine together. But we're really great friends. Like I've known her since sixth grade. So that's I feel like if you're gonna have a TV show and like a wine time, like it's just more of like you're watching the TV show, you're not really having a conversation as much. And then
Yeah.
you may have a conversation after the show, of course. But in her case, like she says that she doesn't really have time. So how does that make sense to me? If you're gonna take the time to watch TV shows and then drink some wine, like I feel like unless you just want to watch one episode and then that's it type of
Yeah.
thing.
Or does she not have time for lunch? Because the I don't
Yeah.
have time came after the lunch part. So it's like, do you only have time at
Hmm.
night? And then it's like, okay, have a wine night because that makes more sense. I
Hmm.
think maybe start with like a game night or something.
Yeah.
I feel like a
And
wine night is for like you and the girls. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And right now, she's
Yeah.
not the girls. She's just like your coworker.
Hmm. I felt like one of the girls when I was drinking wine with my best friend.
Of
I
course,
was like, oh,
yeah.
I'm a girl.
Like having a wine night with your girls where you're just watching something, you're talking some shit about it, or something like that.
Hmm.
Like that is
Yeah.
something that you do with like your established friends. I feel like for a stranger that
Yeah.
you haven't hung out with one on one, I feel like it might be a little not too
Intimate
deep, but
looking,
yeah,
maybe.
I guess intimate is a
I
way to
guess
look at it.
if you can read, like if she reads between the lines a little bit. In my head, like it kind of seems as if maybe she likes her more than a friend potentially, but then she has a girlfriend at the same time. So I don't know.
Yeah, but she also said that she has made a single person the center of her life. So she might just be focusing in on how she's treated her girlfriend all this time and being
Mhm.
like you make a friend and that friend becomes the center of your life. I feel like she might be going through that kind of thing
That
right
could be
now.
it.
And so
Yeah.
she has to like not calm down because I hate to say that because that's like not a good way to look at it. But she
Yeah.
has to like kind of like zoom out of the situation a bit and be like, oh,
Hmm.
let me not make this girl the center of my life. Let me just add her and make her like a cool, fun part of my life, but not have her
Yeah.
be the only thing.
Yeah. And then can you just bring your girlfriend along at the same time? Maybe you guys all three
Yeah.
can hang out
Like
potentially.
I think hanging out one on one is cool and important, but maybe like introduce her to your girlfriend first. Do like another group hangout, like or hang out with the guy that you work with late night after a session or whatever. Like do a
Yeah.
couple more group hangouts and then keep texting her, and then be like, "Hey, girl, I'm free for lunch. Do you want to grab lunch or something?" Or I know you couldn't smoke the other day, but do you want to smoke now? I have a free period.
Hmm.
Something like
And
that.
she what does she do? I know she said she does like a sport. She says that she had a game or something. Maybe if you work out and then she goes to the gym as well, that's a really quick thing too. You guys can go to the gym together. And it's like you
Yeah,
find a quick little workout partner. It's just like, yeah, we can talk at the gym a little bit, work out, and then that's it. I mean, I've had friends like that as well, where it's just like we go to the gym and then we just have conversations. We're there for an hour and a half, and
yeah.
that's it.
I think really this person is overthinking it in a lot of ways to the point where it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be that serious. But making friends can feel that serious at times. So like I get why she's overthinking it. But I think,
Yeah,
like I
it's
said,
hard.
zoom out, baby. You'll be
You
fine.
gotta, yeah, I know. And then, I mean, it could be like socially awkward a little bit, which I totally get. I mean, there's certain things I feel like I'm fucking weird sometimes.
I'm
I
saying,
have to like kind of shadow what I want to talk about, but it's like maybe I shouldn't say that because not everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I love Saw." And like, "Do you like Saw? Do you like these kills?" I'm like, "Why would I say that?" No, I need to really like,
that would work. That would work for me. I would be like, hell yeah, let's talk
yeah,
about it. When she was slicing off the meat,
yeah, yeah, it'd be
whole
great.
arm
See,
comes off.
it would work for us, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes like there's moments where I'm like, "Fuck," I really have to gauge the person. I'm like, what can I say and what can I not say? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to come off as like weird
You got to lead
and
off with like, oh, I saw this really cool horror movie. And then if they're like, ew, horror, or they're like, oh, really? What was it? Then you can kind of get
uh,
a little more
if they said ill horror, I would say arson. Just
blocked.
kidding.
Zoom call left.
Yeah, my freaking I'd black out. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you black out and you wake up, you're like, oh my God, what's happened
I'm like,
here?
what? I was shaking and everything.
Oh my,
Uh, yeah, it's hard. I
yeah.
totally get it. I mean,
Speaking
I'm the same
which,
way.
I hate to go on a tangent. I
Yeah.
finally watched Terrifier 2. I
What you
finally saw
think?
it. And I've been waiting to talk about it. I have a lot of thoughts about this. So Terrifier, it's an indie film for those of you that aren't aware, very gory. And it's gory in a way that Saw isn't. Saw's gore feels a little more based in reality, I feel.
Hmm.
Whereas the gore in Terrifier is full balls to the walls, splatterfest. It is
It is,
gore to a
it's
point where
extreme.
you're like, it's not even this is even gore at this point. This I'm just looking at jelly. Like it is
It's
crazy.
Yeah, just imagine someone going through like the worst death and then being alive through the whole thing. Like it's like you would think you'd bleed out. Like there's no way you would live through that, but yet you're
Yeah.
still alive, bitch. How the fuck? If you guys want to
Hmm.
listen to an episode, I mean, not to just plug myself in really quick,
Plug
but
it, plug away. That's why I brought it
I
up.
do have an episode on Terrifier too. Also on Terrifier, like the original one as well.
Yeah.
So you guys can totally catch that on my podcast, the Fearquency podcast.
It was a
But
good
Terrifier
episode.
2, I do have a guest and he loves Terrifier, everything with Art the Clown. So I'm super happy that he was a part of it and able to explain certain things that I really couldn't explain. And it's fun because you got to just jump off of different ideas and opinions on people. Because I'm like, hey, this makes a lot of sense. Like, but it can make a
Yeah,
lot of sense in so many different ways, and it opens
exactly.
your eyes for different things. So
And
I'm excited for Terrifier 3.
your episode was the reason I watched it actually. So I had started your Terrifier 2 episode and then I paused
Hmm.
it. Before you
Hmm.
guys got into the actual story or anything, I paused it and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go watch this movie. I've been
Hmm.
putting it off because the first one I was like, oh, it's so gory. I'm like, ugh. And mind
It,
you, I'm watching it while cooking dinner. So I'm like cutting up chicken while watching
oh,
it. So I'm like,
girl,
this
I be eating when I'm watching these
exactly.
movies.
So
I'm
yeah,
different.
I watched it because of your episode, and then I went and finished the episode, and I really liked it.
Thank you.
I think some
Appreciate
of the
that.
acting was a little
A
touch and
little iffy,
go,
questionable, you know.
questionable, but I love the
I
final
get it.
girl. She's great. She was really fun. And
Sienna, love her.
after, yeah, Sienna. And then after the death with the friend, where she was like alive for it, and her mom comes in. After that, I was like, oh, I just need to suspend my disbelief and realize that Art is like kind of like a magical character, and like things aren't going to be realistic, and that's
Mhm.
okay, and that's part of the fun of the film.
Yeah, and we totally touched base on that for
Yeah,
sure. I definitely think he does bend reality some way. And
exactly.
it's kind of like he's pumping adrenaline in you, but without pumping adrenaline in you. And it's like you're
Yeah,
gonna stay alive, bitch. Like you're gonna feel every single fucking thing.
exactly. I mean, his power set is a little undefined. Like he's got kind
Yeah.
of some Freddy Krueger esque dream things going on, and then reality
Hmm.
bending to an extent. It seems like, but yeah, basically, I just had to. Once I realized that, I just had to suspend my disbelief and be like, things are gonna be a little whacked out and crazy from here on out.
Oh
After I did
yeah.
that, I started to enjoy the film a whole lot more.
Yeah, you really can't take it serious. I feel like if you're really going to be serious about it and you're going to
You're not
nitpick
gonna have a good
everything,
time.
you won't. And I totally get it. It's not for everyone. It is fairly long, I would say, for a horror movie, especially because of the plot itself, like what it
Yeah,
is.
the plot is
So
pretty bare bones for it to be
it
2 hours like that.
yeah, and it's so weird because like for having it like 2.5 hours basically long, it's like there's still so many questions that were unanswered.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I know, but it's going to be answered, I'm sure, in Terrifier
I'm sure.
3. So I'm super excited for that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I know it's going to be freaking horrendous. I'm already
Oh,
planning on
I'm
it.
sure. Those are the types of things that I cannot watch in theaters. I like having the freedom because at home where I could pause, go take a lap around my apartment and be like, all right, I'm back. You know?
Yeah, I'm over here like I'm in it to win. I'm gonna wait until everything's fucking done. But I do go to the theaters to watch it. But I will say, as like a seasoned horror lover and everything, to me it was a little too long.
It was
And
a little long.
but I personally don't like really long movies. So that it's just a preference of mine. Like I mean, 2 hours is cool. Like, I'm like, fuck, okay. But I use the restroom a lot and I can't hold in my piss that much, especially in the
Fair.
theater. That's because it's fucking cold. I'm over here like I'm stressed out a bit and I'm like, it's just an elevator, everything. I'm like, I need to pee. So I
Yeah.
always, before the movie, if it's too fucking long, I go on the internet and check to see when is a good time to go pee.
When's a good? There should be a. Is there a website for that?
I think so. I usually, I don't know what it's called, but I know they don't give you spoilers or anything, but they'll say like, oh, you can go through these scenes. So like, let's say for example, when I'm just like, go at the moment that they go to this person's house. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is the person's house. Like I can go, like I won't miss anything, but like a little bit of dialogue. But Yeah.
Smart.
I highly recommend everyone to do that, especially if you have like issues like
If you
me.
have a pea-sized bladder, this is for you.
Yeah. For I don't have a pea-sized bladder. I think I just get super stressed and I drink too much water before.
Fair,
And
fair.
I'm like, fuck. And I pee before too, which is so annoying. But yeah, it just happens. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think the pacing on it could have been sped up a bit if they had gone the way. And it's weird because for me, I'm like Terrifier, can't see it in theaters. I can't. But also, I was there opening night for Evil Dead Rise, and that was like equally as gory, if
Yeah.
not more, kind of realistic in the gore at points.
Yeah.
Which Evil Dead Rise, that's a good movie right there. I loved it.
That's a good movie. I need to cover that. I covered it with someone named Adrian for the first one for Evil Dead 2013
Yeah,
because I love that movie. I watch the movie every year. It's
Evil Dead's great.
amazing.
I love Evil Dead.
Yeah, and then I need to cover Evil Dead Rise too. So
Yeah,
that one is probably hopefully soon to come.
all right, I'll keep my eye out for it. Uh, that was how did we get off on this tangent? Anyway, this girl, be friends. Oh, before we finish out, I do want to say, how do you make friends? That is one thing I wanted to ask you. Like, what is your way? Because making friends is hard, and I think it helps for people to hear like examples of how to make friends.
So I always say that I'm very introverted, but yet everyone that I know that's pretty close to me, they're like, you are not introverted, you're extroverted. But it's because I love being alone. I'm a huge homebody, so I'm like, maybe yeah. But when I do go out, I think I just am super friendly. Like I'm friendly towards everyone. Like I don't have bitch face, I would say. And I think when I'm having a conversation with someone, I do introduce myself and just be friendly. That's literally like the biggest thing and be nice. I feel like if you are being a little too over the top or it's like a little too pushy, like that will show. And it's like, okay, you're doing a little too much. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Like, it's okay. Like, we can have a conversation and I'm not going to feel some type of way. Um, but I do get nervous at the same time though. Like I'm like, oh, you know what? I think they look cool. Like I want to be friends. But then again, an easy approach as well. Like if you have a mutual friend or like a friend that like they're friends with them, you can totally go together like in a group. Like I at the gym, for example, when I see my friends and they're talking to people that I have never met, and I go up to the group and then like I will introduce myself or like they'll introduce me and then now at the gym they like wave hi to me or like we have like a slight little conversation but they can totally introduce you too like if you think you need someone that can help you like extend that hand where it's like I can't do it myself but yet you're friends with that person like let's go have a conversation with them and
Yeah.
then see how it goes so like that's how I do it.
I think it helps if you are somebody, because I think it is important to introduce yourself to people
Mhm.
when you walk up to start a conversation, or if you're entering a conversation with other people. Introduce yourself to the people you don't know. If you are having trouble with that and you have like a good friend that knows you, it could be like talk to your friend and be like, listen, girl, I have trouble introducing myself. I feel very awkward about it. Like, could you introduce me a little more often when we're out?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a more introverted friend who you can like not latch on, but like if you're out together and you'd be like, please introduce me to people. Like,
Yeah,
just because
I
it could be a little awkward doing it. I get that.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, I mean, there's always going to be probably that friend that is a little more extroverted than you, and they're going to be like, yeah, I'm totally okay with introducing you, or
Yeah.
they're more like able to speak out and
Because
things like
that's how
that. Because,
extroverts are.
yeah, they totally are. I mean, I know a lot of extroverts. I'm over here like I know like I don't really want to have a conversation sometimes, but at the same time, I'm like I can have a
Yeah.
conversation pretty easily,
That's how
which
I
is so
know I'm like
weird.
not an extrovert. I'm like conversations. Sometimes I don't want to have them. I think I am an ambivert. I can be extroverted and I can also be very introverted. But I
Maybe
don't
that's
think
what I am.
I think you're like me where you can go both ways, but you're not
Yeah.
necessarily all one, all the other.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the middle for sure.
Yeah.
100%, I would say.
Also, don't underestimate the power of just straight up asking somebody, do you want to be my friend? It feels
I
really awkward. I swear it feels so awkward. But like it worked for you when you were a kid, right? It worked in preschool. It can
hmm
work as an adult. And it doesn't have to be like in that wording, be my friend, because that can be a little weird. But it's
Yeah,
just as easy
very
being like,
forward.
do you want to hang out sometime? Like it doesn't have to be super serious. It doesn't have to be like the implications of it being a date or something, or we have to become best friends. It's just, girl, do you want to hang out sometime? Do you want to grab a drink? Do you want to get some coffee? Go to the diner? Like it could be anything like that.
hmm
So yeah,
Yeah.
I really think like just take that leap.
Yeah. Take
Just
that
do it.
leap. It's the leap of faith, you know? It's like
Yeah,
it's
and
scary, but
it
it'll be
is.
worth it,
And don't be
you know?
afraid to do more group hangouts before a one-on-one hangout.
Yeah, exactly. Because then that can kind of just lead to it. And then maybe she might ask you. Who knows? It can
Exactly.
go either way.
Boom.
Just be yourself.
Yeah, definitely not the Yasshole because I really don't think there's any situation
Yeah. I don't think
where she
either of
would
them are the
be.
asshole. Where I
I
mean,
don't
I don't
think
even
there's an asshole in this situation like there was in the last
yeah.
story, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That the other one was like very clear who it was. This one, I
Yeah.
honestly don't even think that you are considered an asshole or she is either.
If you were beating her up and then being like, bitch, you're my friend, then you would be the asshole, right?
Yeah. Or if you're kidnapping her and you're like tying her somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
misery,
Like,
then you'd be the
yeah,
asshole.
misery or freaking you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Don't be
Locking
Jeff
her in the
Goldblum or
basement.
whatever. Is that his name? I don't know. I
No,
never watched it.
Jeff Goldblum is that's Jurassic Park.
Oh,
It's just Jeff is Joe Goldberg is
oh,
you.
tomato, tomato.
Jeff Goldblum is the hot guy from Jurassic Park.
I mean, they're both hot, honestly.
I don't know. The guy from You to me is not doing anything.
Really? I
He
think he's
does
so cute
nothing
because
for me.
it's because he has like a nerdy look to him and like he just, I like me a hairy man. That's it. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
You know, I see the vision for you.
Yeah.
But
But for
he does
me,
nothing for me.
oh, okay. I think he's so handsome.
Well, you hear that? Actor for Joe Goldberg.
Joe Goldberg,
when
go
when
Goldblum.
you are on You season whatever season 5 now, something like
I
that.
don't know.
When you end
He
up
could
as an
totally put
extra,
he could totally put me in a basement. I'm fine with that.
oh wow,
I'm like, what do you want me? What do you want me to do?
be his friend. That's what.
Yeah, I'll be his love. That's her name, right? I think. I
I
haven't
think
even watched the
so.
fucking show,
I
but
think
I
her name
know
was
all the
Love.
characters.
I didn't watch season 1. I watched season 2, and then I tuned out for the rest.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything, but yeah, here I am knowing everything that happens.
Maybe you're you.
Well, don't say that.
You're the one
Maybe.
stalking this actor. Talk about it's you.
Nah. Hey, you know what? I have some free time sometimes.
All right. And on that
Hmm?
note, that brings us to the end of the episode. Aaron, thank you again so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me. I'm always open to doing these.
This is a lot of fun. You want to plug the show, plug things where they can follow you, all that stuff?
Yeah, you can totally find me on my podcast page at Fearquency. It's just FEARQUENCY. That's literally just the name for the handle on Instagram. But you can find me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts at the Frequency Podcast. And if you want to follow my personal Instagram, it's just Aaron the Bland. With yeah, that's it.
Boom. I've been Jake. You can follow me at Poison Touch Pod, or if you want my personal, at Crow Conk, to catch me talking about X-Men, talking about video games, Pokemon, horror games, all types of stuff. And also,
Nerd.
yeah, and you can catch me on the Patreon for $5 a month. That's patreon.com/Poison Touch Pod. I am currently doing X-Men 97 recaps, as well as a couple other different series where I talk about previous questions that were on the podcast before. You know, you can find all video versions to see our beautiful faces on over at the Patreon. And yeah, you can find me also on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow, leave 5 stars, all that bullshit. And leave your own questions for the next episode at poisontouch.com. We'll catch y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, and next
Oh.
month's guest is going to be another podcast creator. It's going to be Ralph Anthony from the Scream Queer
Scream Queer
podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, so get into
How
it.
dare you, Ralph? You know what?
It.
Let's fight. I'm just kidding. No, I love Ralph. He's actually on my podcast too, so he is such an amazing person.
Yep, I got 2 spooky bitches and 2 mods, so I'm in my creator bag, you know.
Yeah, Jake is also a spooky bitch though, because I'm just gonna plug something in really fast. We are gonna have a couple episodes together as well, dealing on top 10 of our 90s horror films, as well as top 10 horror video games, because I am also a nerd. So don't shade me because I call Jake a nerd, because I'm also a big fucking nerd. Okay.
We're nerds and we're thoughts, and we're proud
Yeah.
of it.
More nerdy thoughts. That is for sure.
Yeah. And also for the girls that are really listening to the end, I want to let y'all know I appreciate you. But also, I'm so tired of people coming up to me and asking me when they're going to be on my podcast. That's the real story we should have covered today, because it's always people that I feel like don't even really listen to the podcast because they're like, we should talk about this and this. But I'm like, do you know what my podcast is about? Because I answer people's questions. So if you just want me to talk about it, you can just submit the question and I'll answer it. I don't have to have you on the pod. But anyway, yeah, I just had to rant because I literally yesterday at work, no less than 4 people came up and asked me, when am I going to be on your podcast? And I had to be like, and I don't want to ever tell someone no like that, but the answer really is no. But I just have to be like, oh, you know,
kind of go around it. It's just like, let me see. I had to try to figure it out.
Oh, it's like, you know,
I totally get that.
I do my scheduling quarterly, so I'll let you know at the end of July.
You're like, I'm already stacked, girl.
I'm booked. I can't.
You're like, oh, my people will call your people.
Exactly. But yeah, that's for the girls that listen to the end, because I know they're real ones. They would never ask me shit like that because they're the real ones out there.
They're here for it, you know?
Bye, friends.
All right, bye.